Is owning a gas motorhome actually cheaper? Well, today's oil change says a lot. Hey roamers, it's Jamie back at you. What we got going today is we're going to be doing an oil change on Rosie. She's due for one. So I'm just going to go over some of the things we need to be able to do that. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your owner's manual and you're going to want to check to see which filter you need and then also which oil type you're going to need, depending on the year of your RV. This is the chassis manual. You want to make sure and check that. The other one, the big one that you get, is for the house part of the RV that talks about how to use a leveling system and all that kind of stuff. In here, it's going to tell you what kind of oil to use and what filter you use, what number filter. And then also, the other thing I'm going to be doing, since we're changing the oil, I'm going to change the air filter as well since I'm doing that. So I'm going to do it all at one time. For all of you that follow the channel, you know that our previous coach was a diesel pusher. Our very first coach was also a diesel pusher as well. I never changed the oil in either one of those rigs because it was more of a, it's not like a gas coach like we have now, which is great because it's very easy for me to do it myself. No different than changing the oil in your car. With a diesel pusher, it's a little bit different. The other thing is the expense. The expense of the diesel coach was about $500 every time we had the oil change, and depending on how many miles we're putting on a year, determine whether we're going to change it out once a year or twice a year. One thing I do want to say, if you don't use your coach that much, you want to at least change it once a year, no matter whether it's a diesel or a gas. The other thing I want to say is that Rosie is it's a Ford chassis, so it's the F53 chassis. There's some older RVs out there that have the Chevy chassis, which, you know, that all that could be very much different than what the Ford is. And there's also the newer Ford, which is the V8 as opposed to the V10, which we have. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the stuff that I'm going to be using to be able to do the oil change. So for the air filter, I'm using an actual Motorcraft. This is the Ford OEM part. For our RV, it's the FA1782A, and I got this off of Amazon. The oil filter for our coach is the FL820S, which I also got on Amazon, and that's a Ford Motorcraft OEM part. The oil I'm using is the Mobil One full synthetic, and this is the high mileage extended performance. And I'm using the 5W20, and how you determine that is either through your owner's manual, and the owner's manual, when I looked, it called for 520 synthetic blend. I'm using a full synthetic, but it says in there that I can actually use, that's an option, you can use the full synthetic. If you don't have your manual for some reason, where you put in your oil, the cap, it'll say right on there what oil you're supposed to be using. It'll say whether it's 5W20 or 5W30. Another thing, an oil wrench, and the oil wrench that I'm using pivots to make it easy, just in case it's a little bit difficult to get in there. And then a funnel. And the reason I'm using a funnel with this long line on it is because I'll show you when I'm doing the oil change where the plug is for draining your oil is right above where your axle is on the RV. So if you don't have a funnel like that, it's going to go all over your axle and you're going to have a heck of a time having to clean up afterwards. And it's the same thing for the filter as well. It's right above the axle, so it's not in a very convenient place. The other thing I'm using is, this is for my old oil. So everything's going to drain into this hole here. And then I can take it, there's a few different places you can take it. Walmart will take old oil. Also AutoZone, and I believe O'Reilly's will as well. So once you're done doing your oil change, you just take it over there, they'll pour it into their barrels, and then you're good to go. First step in the process is we need to fire up the engine. We want to get that oil moving around and get it heated up a little bit. It's a lot easier to drain oil that is actually heated up in the engine than it is oil that's been sitting there for a long time. You're not going to get a full drain unless you start it up. So I'm going to go start up Rosie. I'm going to let her run for about 10 minutes, get that oil circulating, and you can see on your dash once the oil pressure gets up to where it needs to be. Then I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to let it sit for about 20 minutes so all of that oil drains down into the pan, and then we're going to go ahead and pull that plug and drain the oil out. I'm going to go ahead and lay out a tarp. That way if any oil drips, it's not going to go into the ground or anything like that. Okay, so the first step in the, after we've turned the motor on, let it run for about 10 minutes, shut it off. I let it sit for about 20 minutes. That way all the oil goes down into the oil pan. Before I pull my drain plug, I want to take my cap off where my oil fill is. That way it's going to drain a lot faster. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Okay, we got that off. And like I said, if you don't have your manual right on top of your cap, it tells you what type of oil you need. Okay, so first thing we want to do, we got our, for our old oil, we got this container here. And then I got this funnel with this long line. And like I said, this is where your drain plug is, right up here. And it's going to drain right on top of the axle. So that's why I bought this. So that's going to go right up in there, and then this is going to go directly into my container for my old oil. Just like that. So what I need to do now is I need to take my 5/8" wrench and loosen up that drain plug. Okay. Okay, so we got her started. Well, that was a fail. The oil came out faster than what the funnel can handle, so it overflowed. So I'm gonna have to clean that all up. Okay, now we got all the oil out. I'm gonna go ahead and put the drain plug back in. Okay, so now we need to remove the oil filter. Usually when you tighten an oil filter, you just want to do it as tight as you can by hand. But I can't remove that, so I'm going to have to use my oil wrench. I just want to get it loose enough where I can start turning it with my hand, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this plastic bag. Okay. I want to take my plastic bag and wrap it around my oil filter. Because when I take the oil filter out, there's oil in it, so it's gonna want to drip oil. Okay, it's pretty well loose, and there's oil coming out of it. There. All right, so we got the oil filter out. The bag worked pretty well. Still got a little bit of oil on my arm and down below, but could have been a lot worse. And we just want to go ahead and get our filter ready. So what we want to do, you don't have to do this, but I learned this when the guy did the oil changes on our Alpha. He would put oil in the filter. That way you're not waiting for oil to run through the motor and get into the filter when you initially first start it. So I'm just going to pour some oil in here, probably about 3/4 of the way full, and then that way it'll already be in there. And as you're filling it, you'll see how the filter will kind of soak it up. Okay, that's pretty good. on the seal here, I want to take some of this oil and I want to put it on my seal. That way it won't seize up on us and you won't have that problem trying to take this. When I go to do the oil change again, it won't be as hard to get this off. Okay, so we got that all done. Now all I need to do is go under there, reinstall the filter, and the hard part will be done, and then we can start putting oil back into it. One thing you want to make sure that before you put your filter back on, that the old gasket from the oil filter is not stuck to where the filter mounts. Because if it is, when this one goes up there and you don't remove the old gasket, it's not going to seal properly and it's going to leak. And you just want to make sure that you don't cross thread it, because then that's a total nightmare. So I'm just going to take both hands now and snug it up. Okay, that should be good. We don't want to use the wrench, but I got it real nice and tight with my hands. Okay, now that we got the old oil out, we changed out the filter, time to put the new oil back in. And just like everything else in the RV industry, they don't make it easy to be able to put your stuff back in. One thing I did do is I put this rag here just in case I do get a spill. So we got one down, we got 6 to go. It takes 7 quarts of oil. Now I tried using a funnel, a couple different funnels, and because of how the lack of space in here, I wasn't able to use those. Now on this last one, I'm only going to put half of it in, and then I'm going to start my motor up and then check with my dipstick what level I'm at. It does take 7 quarts. Okay, so now that I've ran the engine, let the oil sit, I went and had lunch, came back. I'm going to check on my dipstick to see what the level of my oil is. Like I said, when I put the last quart in, I held off the last half of that quart. So I'm going to double check on my dipstick over here just to make sure. I'm going to go ahead and if I need to add that or not. One thing I did want to point out, this is where you add your oil right here. There's a dipstick right here, but it says right on it, transmission fluid. Dipstick for your oil is on the other side of the motor. This is your oil dipstick. So you want to go ahead and clean that off, and we'll slide it back in there. And you want to make sure it's all the way in when you put it back in. Okay, and yeah, I want to put that last little bit in. And then we just want to put our cap back on. And you want, when you screw that on, you want to screw it on until you hear it click. And there you go. Now that we've completed the oil change, last step is I wanted to change out the air filter. I don't know what the air filter looks like because when we initially bought Rosie, I'm pretty sure they changed out the air filter, but I'm not positive, so I want to open it up, double check just to make sure. So I'm going to show you how you access this. You just got these 3 clamps here. You want to lift those up. And in the back, there's 3 tabs that this thing interlocks with. You want to just lift it up, and you want to kind of, you got to push it back. There, now it's unhooked. And you just want to slide this out. And like I suspected, it's filthy. Just to give you an idea, I'll open up the new one and show you that. So here you can see the difference. That's why I wanted to make sure and double check this and change this out if it needed to be replaced. And I did get the actual Motorcraft OEM filter. Before I put the new filter in, just one thing I want to do is I want to go in here. I just want to clean out if there's any dirt or anything in here. I just want to wipe that. See, there's some. Just want to clean that out. And then here as well. Get that all cleaned out. And then I'm going to wipe out the inside of here. So I just wanted to show you, right here's your tabs. And then if you look right here, this square hole slides over that tab, and that's what locks it in place in the back. So now that I got that all wiped down, I'm just gonna slide my new filter in. And there we go. And there it is, it's in place. Now we just want to make sure when we go and clamp it back down that we do have those slots over those tabs. Okay, I can feel that we got it in place. And then we just want to go ahead and clamp that back down. Okay, and that's how easy it is to change your air filter. I'm glad I checked that because that was pretty filthy. Okay, so we got the oil change all completed. Didn't go as smoothly as I hoped it would. The funnel that I bought didn't work out as well as I thought it would. It didn't flow directly down into my container. What I'm going to do is, a friend of mine has a motorhome as well, gas motorhome. His is a Chevy, but what he did is he changed out that drain plug to this thing made by a company called Fumoto, which actually that takes the place of your drain plug, and basically what it does, it has a little lever that releases the oil. Once you slide that lever over, it lets all the oil come out, and it comes with a little hose that hooks onto that goes right into your old oil container. So when I do this again, when I do the next oil change, I'm going to buy that and replace my drain plug. But outside of that, it's not a very hard project. It's just getting all the right things so you don't get oil all over everywhere. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd share it with your friends and family on social media. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you'll be notified each time we upload a new video. And if you're watching on a cell phone or a tablet and you see the hype button, we really appreciate it if you'd click that. That way it helps out our channel and tells YouTube to share our video with more people. And make sure to leave a comment. That way you could be part of the conversation. Until next time, we'll see you.
That's a wrap, roamers. If these adventures and tips are keeping you inspired, subscribe and watch another one. Your next RV tip or destination is just a click away.